Oh. Hi, this is Joey from Two Blokes from Blighty, and before we get into today's episode, we're going to hear from our good pal and Podpack founder, Chatsunami. Take it away.
Take it away, Satsu and Chatsu.
Tatsu and Chatsu and Batsu and Watsu.
Welcome to Chatsunami, a variety podcast that discusses topics from gaming and films to anime and general interests.
Previously on Chatsunami, we've analysed what makes a good horror game, conducted a retrospective on Pierce Brosnan's run as James Bond, and listened to us take deep dives into both the Sonic and Halo franchises.
Also, if you're an anime fan, then don't forget to check us out on our sub-series, Chatsunani, where we dive into the world of anime. So far, we've reviewed things like Death Note, Princess Mononoke, and the hit Beyblade series.
If that sounds like your cup of tea, then you can check us out on Spotify, iTunes, and all good podcast apps.
As always, stay safe,
Stay awesome, and most importantly,
Stay hydrated.
You're as smooth as Tennessee whiskey, you're as sweet as strawberry wine, and you're as warm as a glass of brandy. And honey, I stay stoned on your love all of the time. This is Tim from Two Blokes from Blighty. I'm joined by my brother, Joey Fitz.
Hi, Timmy Fitz. I'm Joey Fitz, and I'm joined by Timmy Fitz, who is the frozen cold Tim Fitzgerald.
Am I actually frozen still on the camera?
No, just because it happens every now and then.
Oh, just because. Okay, right. I don't know if it was.
Good luck editing all of that together, Tim.
Oh,
I'm joined by the absolutely freezing Tim Fitzgerald. Tim, how are you doing?
It's pretty bloody chilly.
It's Baltic in here. We've had 3 drops of snow.
You guys did have a lot of snow this week.
We did, yeah. Did you not have any?
We had some. It didn't stick.
Oh. Is that better or worse?
I think it's more annoying because, like, if you wanted to snow, you want it to really snow.
I don't know. Don't know if I agree, but you're very entitled to your opinion, even if your opinion is wrong, Tim.
Sure.
So, Tim, I'm just going to start our podcast the way we start it every single time, trying to take over the world. No, we start with a pub quiz question.
Pub quiz question of the week. Not a jingle, that's a sound effect at best.
What we have there is a fucking jingle, Tim.
Joey, what's the definition of a blue moon?
A blue moon, I do know the answer to this, but I can't remember. Is it when it's like a harvest moon, really big and there?
It is not there. I'm going to give you one more guess and then we'll go to the end of the episode for the answer.
It's a really fucking sad moon.
No, it's not it.
I know the term. Once in a blue moon, so it's something that doesn't happen very often. I think it's a moon when the sun is the opposite side of the Earth and not. No, that's just an
eclipse, isn't it?
No.
That's when the moon's in front of the sun.
Yeah.
I'd be a big bright moon.
Don't come off well in these things because they're pretty easy questions and I can never answer them.
To be fair, I didn't know this one until about 4 hours ago when I was looking up more pub quiz questions to load up the barrel with.
Look at you doing all your research.
Damn right.
Damn good job, Tim.
Oh my God, speaking of research, today's Weird History I'm so excited for.
Well, you did text me about this, so let's not delay. Let's get into the episode. We'll find out what a blue moon is at the end. If you already know, let us know in our Discord. Like and subscribe and comment below too.
Remove the plus on TikTok.
Yeah. So, Tim, this is our last episode before December, right?
Yeah.
It comes out on the 27th of November, which is exciting.
That's very exciting.
What day of the week is that?
Sorry, I'm full of goat cheese and caramelized onion pastry.
That's an in-joke. That's Tim's dinner, and I called him a Tory for it. So, it's a Wednesday. It's a Wednesday.
Tim and Joey talking loud. Holidays that make them proud. Calendar check every week. Which day holds the key?
Hey, it is Wednesday, my dude, Tim. The jingle just brings us so much joy.
The only thing I would love to have more of that jingle is to have the lyrics be a little more clear, but I think it's just what AI is doing at the minute.
What I think I'll do, Tim, for a secret episode, I won't tell you which one, I'm going to replace all of our jingles with pop punk versions of those jingles.
That'd be cool.
Okay, cool. You ready for some days?
Yes, sir.
We've got some good ones. We've got some ones. Tim, National Jukebox Day.
Sure. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. National Tie One On Day.
I want
It's
on.
about tying a knot around your apron because tomorrow is Thanksgiving.
Oh, I mean, in America it is. I think Canadian Thanksgiving's been and gone.
Well, yeah, but they've got so much less to be thankful for. National Bavarian Cream Pie Day.
That's very specific.
Well, if you're in Bavaria and you want a good time, cream pies are always a fun treat.
We all love a cream pie.
Tim's had a cream pie for dinner.
Oh, absolutely love a cream pie. I'd have a cream pie every night if I could.
Tim, when did you last have a cream pie?
Oh, it's been a long time since I've had a cream pie.
Okay, and then we've got National Craft Jerky Day.
I think I'm going to go for Jukebox Day.
Are you sure? Not the
Yeah.
other one. Not the one that I obviously prefer.
All right, fine. Bavarian Cream Pie Day, and everyone, go have a cream pie.
Go grab yourself a cream pie
By any
From a-
means necessary.
from a Bavarian person.
Yep.
Enjoy
Share a
yourself.
cream pie with a Bavarian.
Share a cream pie with your friend, your neighbour. Just cream pie everyone. That's a good wholesome message. Do you know
Fucking
when you
Christ,
wake
it's been a
up?
long month.
You know when you wake up in the morning and you think, I wonder what things I'm never going to say again or today. Share a cream pie with everyone is not one that I had on my bingo card.
No.
Tim, so now that you've been cream pied,
Yep.
where would you like to go next?
I mean, I'm really excited for a few things in this episode. I've already said I'm excited for Weird History. I'm excited for the movie section.
Okay.
Because I have a feeling that a certain someone enjoyed the movie.
You're fucking wrong.
Oh.
Tim, I'm telling you where we're going. We're going to a section we've not had very often.
Renner up from the back.
Oh.
El Mahani right foot. Whips it. Oh, jeez, beeps, man.
Now Sam Maxima might have a chance to run and does. Can he play a colleague through? It's Jacob Murphy. Released. Murphy one-on-one. Jacob Murphy to win it. Oh, the ball in the net! Oh, O'Connell's mistake. McGinn.
And of course, I love this game!
Tim, I love this game so much that I was at this game today and it was shit. But, Tim, I don't have a specific football story for you. What I have is a set of fantastic football team names and some quite funny football team nicknames from this country.
I'm listening.
Okay, so I've got the top 10 just the best. The best football team names from Africa, according to the South African magazine. So we have, are you ready?
Mm-hmm.
In number 10, a team from Tanzania called Young Africans.
That is who they employ.
It's a bunch of Tanzanians. They're young.
Yeah.
They're Africans. Number 9, from Botswana. The team is called Miscellaneous.
Oh.
Yep.
I mean, do their marketing team not have time, or?
Well, I don't think they're big. They're not like big companies like they are in other countries. So Miscellaneous in Botswana. This is where I think it gets really fun. Zimbabwe has a team called Chicken Inn.
Chicken Inn?
Chicken Inn with two N's, like
a hotel
the Chicken Inn. The team is nicknamed the Spicy Wings, and their motto is, and I'm trying not to culturally appropriate here, but it's written with an accent. It says, "Love dat chicken, What's there not to love?
Sure.
That's the team's motto.
I'm glad they have a theme.
Ugandan Premier League has a team called the Kampala Capital City Authority.
Kampala Capital City Authority.
Yep.
Is it the police?
There is a team in England, definitely England and not Wales, called the Met Police.
So that is just the police.
Well, I think it's a semi-professional team made up of people that are in the police.
Right. Okay.
Swaziland, number 6, has a team called Vovovo.
Now, I've heard of them.
You've heard of Vovovo?
I have heard of Vovovo.
Well, there you go. Equatorial Guinea has a team called Leones Veginarios.
Veginarios?
The team logo is a hungry-looking lion.
Okay.
Probably not satisfied with the vegetarian diet it's given, according to the team name. The club itself was founded 17 years ago by a man who was a vegetarian.
I was going to say, are they all vegetarian?
He was so passionate about it, he put the word vegetarian in the name.
What a knob.
There's a team in England called Forest Green Rovers who are famously, everything they do is as eco as possible. And if you sign for Forest Green Rovers, I believe you're meant to be on a full vegan diet.
Actually, fuck off.
Well,
I respect that people have their own dietary choices, and sometimes it is a choice, sometimes it's not a choice. Sometimes you need to cut out things like, I don't know, if you're a celiac, you can't have gluten, for example. But if you're going to force people by contract to be on a diet to be employed, fuck yourself.
There's a manager who was there for a very short amount of time called Duncan Ferguson.
Mm.
Duncan Ferguson is a big Scottish manager, and he was in his playing days, he had this reputation for being a bit of a mad bastard. So he was
Sounds like my kind of guy.
He was not afraid of studding people. Let's put it that way.
Studding.
So studs on the bottom of the shoes so that they don't slip. Studding someone is intentionally kicking someone with the bottom of your foot, so you go in with the studs.
That's brutal.
It is brutal. Big Dunk, as he was nicknamed, became the manager for Forest Green Rovers, and as a part of his introduction section, the CEO of Forest Green Rovers presented him with a vegan burger, which he took a bite out of and had to pretend to enjoy. Now, if you ever want to see a Scottish man's soul leave his body, watch Big Dunk eat a vegan burger.
That's amazing.
We've still got a couple more to go, Tim. The Be Forward Wanderers from Malawi.
Okay. All right.
Yeah.
I can appreciate that.
Quite like them. From Swaziland, 11 Men in Flight.
Oh,
That's the third best, Tim.
well, what a 2 and 1 if that's the third.
Well, we've had the vegetarian team. In Botswana, there is a team called the Botswana Meat Commission.
They just eat meat.
I don't know.
I would assume.
Maybe. And then number 1 is the Cape Coast Abutsa Dwarves in Ghana.
Okay, now, I understood a lot of those words, not in sequence, but individually, but I heard the word dwarves in there.
That is the last word. None of them are dwarves.
Oh.
They're not little people. Just a funny name.
Oh, all right.
And then the reason that I thought about this is there's a few teams in England that have nicknames, and they're really good nicknames. So, Pompey, for example, is Portsmouth.
Mm-hmm.
More people know Portsmouth Football Club as Pompey.
Yep.
I really like Peterborough. They are the Posh.
The Posh.
The Posh. Like Spurs is a good one. Spurs is Tottenham Hotspur.
Spurs. That makes sense. It's a shortening. It's a
good
contraction of it.
As much as I don't like to admit it, Wolverhampton Wanderers are the Wolves, so people
That's a
call
good
them
one.
Wolves. There are two that I really, really, really like. One of them is because it's quite interesting. The second one is the best reason for a nickname I've ever heard about a football club. Okay?
Sure.
And then this is the end of my section, and you can get onto your weird history. So Ashworth in Kent is a team that was made up by engineers, loads of engineers and factory workers at the time. And because of their profession, they were nicknamed the Nuts and Bolts.
That's great.
It's cool, isn't it?
Mm.
And now, are you ready? My favourite? Soon to be your favourite. If I ask you what team you support, it's going to be Stamford AFC in Lincolnshire.
Okay.
Their nickname is the Dannies.
Why the Dannies?
So I'm about to tell you why the Dannies. Stamford is the burial place of Daniel Lambert. Now, if you don't know who Daniel Lambert is, he was the fattest man in UK history. And because he was buried there, they went, let's name our whole football team after him.
Consider me a fan. Consider me a very big fan of these guys.
Well, Daniel Lambert was a very big fan as well.
I think he was just big.
Yes. Anyway, Tim, let's do some spooky, not spooky. Let's do some history.
History. This is going to be another one of these ones where feel free to stop me if you have any questions.
Which, from the sound of it, I will.
Great. So, the year is 1642.
Okay. How many people are wearing leather?
Not many. This was pre-Leatherman and pre-Oofty Goofty.
Okay.
The area is New England, and life is hard for servants, but in particular, life was especially hard for one George Spencer because of his physical appearance.
Poor George.
We're already off to a good start. Living in Boston, historical accounts describe him, and I'm quoting here from these historical accounts, as ugly and balding.
Poor George Spencer.
He also had, and again this is a quote, but one eye for use, the other hath a pearl in it, which was whitish and deformed.
Oh.
So he's got a misshapen false eye.
Oh.
Now, the eye gave him a very sinister appearance, and if you had a sinister appearance kind of in the 17th century, people treated you a bit like a demon.
Okay.
Spencer was also known for his profanity and his vulgar behavior, and generally being a bit of a troublemaker, but his worst crime was openly being an atheist. Gasp. I know.
I don't know if you heard that on the recording.
I did. I did. He only read the Bible when his employer ordered him to, and he never prayed. Quote, why should I pray? I've only got one eye.
Yeah, I mean, if that's his prerogative.
He received a bunch of punishments for his behaviors, but the worst one was when he got flogged for having received stolen goods. It's noted that he didn't request the stolen goods, he didn't organize the stealing, nor did he partake in the stealing, he just had them. But he was flogged, and that likely made Spencer move to another colony in New Haven, an area that is now known as Connecticut.
Okay.
Now, if you remember, a lot of bad stuff happened to the Leatherman in Connecticut.
Oh, no.
Now, because of his behavior, his atheism, and his appearance, he struggled to keep work for any decent amount of time. Now, albeit at this time, his immoral behavior was described to reporters by heavily devout Catholics. So they probably weren't that bad. They were probably just a bit of like your modern homeowners association lot, if you like.
Oh, I hate them lot.
I know. He was, however, regularly accused of illegal and depraved sex acts.
As you would be.
As you
Why
would
not?
be. And then, in the beginning of 1642, came the birth of the piglet.
Okay. I know you're going to tell me, but I feel like I have to ask. Who or what is the piglet?
The piglet is just a piglet.
Okay.
The piglet was one that belonged to one of Spencer's former employers, and it was described as being a prodigious monster, meaning extraordinarily large, with only one eye.
Oh, it's meant to be.
So people who saw the piglet commented on how much it looked like George Spencer, and then the accusations began. People had claimed that George had obviously had sex with a pig.
Is George David Cameron?
You maybe. Sex between humans and animals at this time was illegal in most places, and I'm putting a big, bold, and underline on that one. So I I really hate that I
Have
looked
you
this up.
Googled it?
I did have to Google it for part of the research.
Did you? Oh, I'm sorry, Google. This is for my research. Where can I fuck a pig?
In that it's currently, bestiality is currently legal in 4 states: Hawaii, Wyoming, North Carolina, and Wisconsin, I think.
Really?
Yeah.
So, our American friends, if you think that animal looks sexy,
Go there. Go to Hawaii.
You know where your next vacation is. Other things I hate myself for saying.
But what makes this such a big deal in the New Haven colony was the thought, and it was a pretty commonly held thought, that having sex with an animal would result in bizarre human and animal hybrids with traits of both species. There was no cases of this ever actually occurring, but there was enough deformed livestock born because of just inbreeding between the stock, and enough children spreading rumors to keep this kind of thing alive.
I love it when rumors, like now, it's impossible. You'll never get the same thing because of the internet.
Yeah.
I loved when rumors survived just by word of mouth.
Oh, yeah.
The best one was the Frosties kid.
Oh, my God, I forgot about that one.
Yeah. All of our listeners who know who the Frosties kid is knows what the rumor is, but it was never publicized on the internet. It was just through my friend
word
at
of
this
mouth.
school told me this, my friend at this school told me this.
My uncle's mate, or whatever.
My uncle's mate is Tony the Tiger.
Oh. Now, it's of note that people accused of bestiality were prosecuted in the same manner as witches at this time. And any animals believed to have been tainted by the crime were executed. So,
wow, okay.
George was now formally accused of... Sorry. Oh, yeah, right. I've written myself a pun here and gotten lost on the wording. George was now formally accused of siring a pig.
Oh, Tim.
With one eye. And as far as his peers, as far as his peers went, again, keeping in mind this is very devout Roman Catholics, they thought that the deformed pig was a sign of God to reveal George's crimes.
I agree.
So even though there was no evidence besides the pig, sorry,
that doesn't sound mental at all.
Not at all. Now, even though there was no evidence besides the piglet in question, George was thrown into prison, and he repeatedly insisted that he did not commit the crime. A local magistrate told him that he would be treated mercifully if he confessed to the crime.
What is the charge? Fucking a pig? A succulent pig?
So, seeing how harshly other prisoners were treated, George eventually confessed because he thought that would stop him from being executed for the crime, and again, I'm quoting from historical records here, of pig humping.
Yeah, okay.
When he found that he would not be treated mercifully, he retracted his statement and noted that he only said this to plead to the magistrate. He was immediately thrown back in prison, whereupon other magistrates began to visit him, saying that if he confessed again, they would go easy on him. Eventually, he confessed once more, but it also added on, by the request of the magistrates, that he was guilty of not only disregarding colony law, but also not observing the Lord's Day, referring to it as the Ladies' Day.
Got him.
George did have his limits, though. He did outright, flatly deny engaging in homosexual intercourse with his fellow colonists or native tribes. He drew the line there.
I understand, yeah. Fucking a pig is fine, but another bloke? Ugh.
When it came to trial, his confessions were used against him as evidence, even the ones that were retracted under oath. So...
Right.
The problem was, though, for the prosecution, there were no witnesses to the pig sex. And the reason this is a problem is because at the time you needed 2 witnesses for any capital crime. So if you consider, like, murder, for example, if you only had 1 witness, away you go.
Happy days, just do everything in secret.
The judge solved the witness issue by using the confessions to name George as one of the witnesses.
Okay.
And, hang on, I've just lost my point and thing. Oh, yeah. Named George as one of the witnesses, and then declared the other witness that was to be used in the trial as the deformed pig.
Oh.
The judge was, quote, abundantly satisfied, in his own words, and George was found guilty of a crime under Leviticus 20:15. If a man has sexual relations with an animal, he is to be put to death, and you must also kill the animal. George continued to protest his innocence, saying there was no real evidence because there was no real evidence. But he was still sentenced to death, and on April 8th, April 8th, 1642, the piglet was killed by sword and George was hanged, making him the first white settler to be executed in Connecticut history. Wow.
Well done, Connecticut. You've really taken a step for equality there.
Cases for zoophilia continued to happen in New England, but only one deformed animal was noted as being born, and this was involved in the trial of a guy called Thomas Hogg.
I'll make it up.
This was 5 years after George's execution. Hogg was accused of molesting a sow belonging to his employer. In his case, he was brought to charge following the birth of a piglet that, quote, had a fair and white-skinned head, just like Thomas Hogg's head.
Oh, that's so sad for Thomas Hogg.
Hogg's girlfriend was the one who reported the crime after seeing the resemblance.
Yeah, self-esteem's got to be in the toilet after that, hasn't it?
Yeah. Now, of course, Hogg denied the charge, but his previous convictions of indecent exposure would work against him. And while being in prison for exposure and buggery, he...
You are imprisoned for buggery.
That was very common at the time. The court decided to investigate the accusations of him having sex with a pig. They took Hogg to the employer's yard, and Hogg was instructed to fondle several of the sows, including the one that he had allegedly molested.
What?
Yeah. Now, according to official records, the other sows ignored him, but the sow in question showed, quote, a working of lust that was so effective that she powered out seed before him. What I think that means is he made a lady pig come. Are you good?
Oh my god.
Historical records are a wonder.
I was so not ready for it. Oh, I'm good.
You good? Okay.
Yeah.
Sorry, I just saw the phrase again. Hogg was flogged and imprisoned for filthiness, lying, and pilfering, but the bestiality charges were dropped due to insufficient evidence. Bestiality continued to be considered a capital crime until the end of the 17th century, with the last case being a guy in 1962 who was accused of, quote, a vile attempt of buggery with a mare.
He's had a mare there.
Yeah. The man was flipped? He was whipped. They flipped him over.
Flipped and buggered.
He was whipped.
You're right, Tim.
Yeah.
Are you being whipped?
I choked on a bit of my dinner earlier, and you know when it kind of gets stuck.
What was your dinner?
Oh, the goat cheese tart.
Tart.
The man was whipped, forced to sit in the gallows with a rope around his neck, branded on the forehead with the letter P for pollution, and banished from the colony in which he lived.
Jesus, all because he knows how to make a lady pig come.
No, this is the guy with the horse.
Oh, just because he knows how to make a horse come.
Well, he was accused at an attempt of making the horse come.
Can we just say, we have covered I hate that I have to say this, we've covered horse cum in a Two Blokes from Blighty in the past. This guy was clearly just an entrepreneur.
Ah.
That's an expensive liquid.
Reports have shown that bestiality cases were prosecuted more harshly than sodomy cases in that period, and despite the harshness, there were no more cases of deformed animals being used as evidence or witnesses in court cases moving forward. That's weird history this week.
Wow. That was not as sad as it has been in the past, but quite a lot more animal fucking than I
There was a lot of animal fucking, and also powerful pig seed, from what I understand.
Yeah, that was a good one. Thanks, Tim. Actually, I don't know if I want to say it was a good one. There's quite a lot of stuff in this episode that I don't think I actually want to say out loud. Thanks for that, Tim. That was
You're so welcome.
Informative? Question mark.
Sure.
Tim, let's talk about the film we watched.
Oh, yeah. Oh, hang on. I've got to do the jingle, haven't I?
Of course.
Movies.
Beautiful and perfectly done as well.
Thank you. Joey, we watched Dungeons and Dragons: Honor Among Thieves.
We did.
How long
Can
have I
you
got to
summarise the plot in 10 seconds?
Oh, okay.
Go.
Medieval heist movie involving a guy who is imprisoned for trying to steal an artifact, goes out to rescue his daughter from someone who he used to work with, who has now betrayed the entire party.
Bang! 10 seconds. Well done.
Thank you.
Well, yeah, really well done, Tim.
Thank you. I'm going to go right into it. I fucking love this movie. I think it's great. I think it's really, really fun and awesome that they have, like, I've played D&D quite a bit before. I really enjoyed the fact they've clearly done their research. It's made by people who clearly play D&D, but they've done it in such a way that it's approachable for those who maybe don't have the experience of D&D as well. It's just a fun medieval heist movie with a lot of if you know, you know.
I can tell you enjoyed this movie because that was like listening to you on Fast Forward.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, you spoke so quickly then.
That's my practice for Rap God.
You said you couldn't do Rap God.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was a good film. I enjoyed it a lot. It's some of the most dumb, harmless fun I've had watching a movie in a very, very long time.
Oh, it's such a fun movie.
Do you know what it reminded me of? And you might not agree because, well, I don't know how you feel about the movie itself. Did you watch, you know when they rebooted Jumanji with Kevin Hart, Jack Black, The Rock?
I know about the reboot. I've not seen it.
Oh, you should. It's really, really good, dumb, stupid fun. It's quite a lot like this movie, except without the nods to... Not nods, the Dungeons & Dragons element. I think I appreciated this movie a lot more than I would have 4 or 5 months ago because of our Baldur's Gate playthrough.
Yep.
I think even if I hadn't watched or played Baldur's Gate or understood any of D&D, I still think it's a really good time. There are bits that made me laugh out loud. That was well explained for someone who doesn't know D&D. I think Hugh Grant's character was devilishly stupid, devilishly wonderful. The fights were epic. The CG was great. The story was well told. A very, very good recommendation, Tim.
Thank you. What was your favorite bit? What made you laugh out loud the most, would you say?
I liked where they had the 5 questions for the dead people. So they're trying to get a helmet. Yeah. It felt very Baldur's Gate D&D in that they had an objective, but to achieve that objective, they had to do another objective, but to do that objective, they had to do another objective. It felt like Side Quest City.
Yeah.
But one of the side quests was to get into this vault, they had to get a helmet that stopped incantations that had locked the door. And the helmet was lost in a battle. But they had a sorcerer who could speak to the dead, but they only had 5 questions. And I really liked the first person they spoke to because they raised him from the dead and they had this corpse and he went, "So I only get 5 questions," he was asking the sorcerer. And the guy goes... the dead guy goes, "Yep, so that's 4. And he goes, "You know I wasn't talking to him, right?" "Yep." And then he basically wastes all the questions in a very, very funny way.
Yeah.
I just thought it was good. Just thought it was really... It wasn't hurting anyone. That whole film.
No.
Wasn't mean-spirited in the slightest. It was just fun.
Great movie. I really like the part where you got one of the witches of Thay, who's like the big bad controlling the whole thing behind the scenes. She's basically about to cast this fake like city killing spell, and the way they resolve this is just to have an owlbear come in and just fuck her up, just slam her into the ground and into a building and a wall. And
that was good. That was really good. What else I think was funny? I also really liked. So they had a stick that they could basically cast portals with.
Hither and thither sticks.
They had this really well thought out plan to replace a painting that gets put in the vault and put a portal behind it, so when it's in the vault they can burst through and just go, "Wait, we're in here." But actually the painting fell on its face and they had to chisel their way through it underneath, which I thought was good. I just thought the whole thing was fun. It was definitely fun.
Great. And you were texting me throughout your watch of this film being like, "I didn't know Baldur's Gate was like an actual place in D&D." Yeah. Like, what else did you pick up from your recent exposure from D&D, I guess?
Well, I think that things like the Underdark... So basically, I thought Baldur's Gate was something that was imagined. I understood that it followed D&D rules. and had like D&D classes and races, but I thought like the areas were unique and the items were unique to D&D to Baldur's Gate. Sorry, I didn't realize they were universal to Dungeons and Dragons, which I thought was quite cool.
It was cool.
Yeah, it was very cool. Very much enjoyed it.
Yeah, I think Chris Pine's performance was exceptional. Hugh Grant was an absolute joy to watch. Like he's like a perfect kind of like cowering rogue type in this film.
You know what I really liked about it was they had the opportunity to go, we'll just do it all in a green screen, but there was loads of practical effects within this as well.
Absolutely.
Like I really liked the bird at the start. So they're stuck in an ice prison, and he's trying to get this hearing. So one of the people on the hearing panel is a bird person. I don't know what they're actually called, but he was.
There is a name for it, but I forget.
But he was late because of the storm, and he kept stalling, and the way he told his story was elongated on purpose so that this bird person could arrive, and then eventually, when the bird person did arrive, they just jumped on his back and flew out the door. But the bird person was all made up of practical effects, which was really cool, as was the other person on the panel.
The Dragonborn.
It was just very cool. I saw this advertised and I thought, I'm never going to watch that in a million years. It looks awful. But I know I said Jumanji, but also I feel the same way about Guardians of the Galaxy, because when I first saw that advertised, I thought, this looks shit. I'm not going to watch it. One of my favourite films.
Yeah, it's just a fun movie.
Just great.
Yeah. I mean, you going back to your green screen comment, they really did have the opportunity to use a lot of green screen, and they definitely did in some points. Like there's a point where they're in an arena in Baldur's Gate and they're doing like this whole labyrinth thing. That was obviously green screen because there's no way that kind of thing is physically possible. But there's a lot of stuff they filmed out in like the Giant's Causeway, for example, in Ireland, and some of the cathedrals we recognise, like the exterior shots of Baldur's Gate were just Alnwick Castle in Newcastle. The interior, a lot of the interior cathedral shots were done in Wells Cathedral, which is places that we had been to about 6 months before seeing this film for the first time. So we were like, oh my God, we were just there.
Well, that's so fun.
It's really cool. And like, it's obviously just meant to look like a generic kind of castle cathedral thing. But when you see that kind of thing in a film that you're really enjoying, it makes it really nice. Makes it really nice. Yeah.
Good pick, Tim. I give it 8 blokes out of Blighty.
I gave it an 8 out of 10 on IMDb. I really like this thing. I think that translates to 4 blokes out of Blighty.
Well, no, because there's only 2 of us.
Oh. But hang on, you gave it 8. How many 8 blokes? Did you give it 8 blokes out of Blighty?
I don't know how I gave 8 blokes out of Blighty. I gave it 1.5 blokes out of Blighty.
Yeah, I'm going to go with 1.5. That seems right.
Does that work?
Thereabouts.
7.5. Let's say just over 1.5.
Yeah. All right. I'm going to go with just shy of 2.
Okay, cool.
Great.
Tim, I've got 2 movies for you to choose from.
Okay.
One of them is a musical. I know you love your musicals.
Love a musical.
Oh, it's on Disney Plus. Oh. Well, these are on Disney Plus, so I can hit you with one of these.
Oh, it's on Disney Plus. I'm a music lover. Whoa.
I haven't heard that bite in a while.
There's actually 3 because I thought of another one on Disney Plus that I do want to watch but haven't yet. The first one is Moana.
Okay.
Have you seen it before?
I have seen Moana.
Okay, well, strike that from the record.
Oh.
Deadpool versus Wolverine?
Not seen.
Haven't you?
No.
The other one was Inside Out 2, but I think I'm going to go with Deadpool versus Wolverine.
This isn't me looking to go, oh, wow, I'm such a contrarian, but I feel like Deadpool's only fun the first time you watch it.
Okay, well, I don't agree.
Sure.
I went to see this in the cinema, and it's a fucking riot.
I'm sure, like, the thing is, I've seen Deadpool 1 and I've seen Deadpool 2. Is there a third, or is this the third? This is the third, okay.
This is, in my opinion, Tim, without trying to shade your opinion, this Deadpool is the best of the 3.
Okay. Well, this one is on my watch list because, like I said, I've seen the other 2 and I want to at least finish the trilogy.
Mm-hmm. Well, I'm not going to say anymore. It's good. You'll enjoy it.
Okay. Deadpool 2.
Deadpool 2 it is. Woo!
Woo!
Cool. Nice one. Tim, let's do some jokey wokey okey pokies.
That's pretty funny, to be fair. That joke was weak. I misread that as that's the joke of the week.
Tim, welcome to our joke of the week section where Tim and I will try and get a laugh out the other one. We will do this by telling one-liners, and when one person laughs, the joke of the week section is over. Tim, how many jokes have you got this week?
I got 10.
I've got 9, so you can go first.
Great. An audience, if you laughed, let us know.
Please let us know when. I really enjoy hearing where people cracked.
Yeah. I'm going to start off with an easy one. It's not the best ceiling I've ever seen, but it's up there.
I was going to put that on my list this week and didn't.
Oh.
I slept with a woman once and she told me I had the biggest penis she'd ever seen. Turns out she was blind. She was just pulling my leg.
Wait, that's good.
Lads, dicks. Woo.
I've always heard of people picking their nose, but I was just born with mine.
Yes, yeah, good point.
Yeah.
Tim, isn't it scary that doctors do what they call practice?
When do they start for real?
Exactly, for real.
What do you call a pervert with no legs?
Don't know.
Creepy crawly.
That's very ableist, Tim.
Oh.
I hate double standards. Burn a body at a crematorium, you being respectful friend. Do it at your home and you're destroying evidence.
Is that guy from Cannibal Corpse?
Yeah.
Yeah?
My house is full of skulls.
My house is full of skulls. Payne asked me if we could have a quickie the other day, and I said, as opposed to what?
It's true. Yeah.
What do you mean it's true?
Payne's name in there.
I told her this joke, and she suggested that I put her name in there.
Good, very good. Tim, I read a study recently that humans eat more bananas than monkeys.
Oh.
It's true. I can't remember the last time I ate a monkey.
Yeah? Yeah, I mean, that's fair. I can't remember the last time I ate one.
Okay.
Yeah. If your canoe tips over, you can wear it as a hat, because it's capsized. No? Joey's shaking his head.
No. I bought a box of condoms earlier today. Cashier said if I'd like a bag, and I said, nah, I'll just turn the lights off.
Well done. Well done.
Woo, sexist joke. Woo, lads, woo.
A man goes to the doctor and says, I think I'm losing my hearing. Can you describe the symptoms, says the doctor. And the man says, well, Homer's bald and Marge has blue hair and Maggie's the baby.
That's good. That's really good. I like that one. Tim, would masturbating while smoking weed be considered masturblazing?
That's a pretty cool name for it. Yeah.
Yeah.
Because it's almost like getting yourself into the Mile High Club.
Exactly.
Yeah. What's the difference between me and a pizza?
Don't know.
A pizza already has a stuffed crust and I'm still waiting.
Okay.
That was nearly a laugh. I saw a bit of a shake.
It was very close. Tim, would masturbating while smoking weed count as weed whacking?
That's also a great name for it.
Yeah, okay.
How much do pirates pay for their earrings?
I don't know.
$1 an ear.
Could have delivered it better. Was that your last one?
No.
Okay. Tim, would masturbating while smoking weed be considered hijacking?
That's another good name for it.
That was my last one. I've got one more. I'll do one more.
Okay. Why does no one tell jokes about the Jonestown Massacre?
Because it was a tragedy and you shouldn't joke about it.
Also, the punchlines are too long.
I think I get it.
They all died by drinking poison punch.
Yeah.
Doesn't work when you explain it.
The best ones are the ones you have to explain.
Yeah,
Tim, what was the last thing my neighbour said before he kicked the bucket?
No. It's back.
Hey, Joey, look how far he kicked his bucket.
For fuck's sake.
How'd you feel about that, Tim?
I feel cheated. I feel conned.
Do you want to do your last one and see if it makes me laugh? And if
No, it's fine.
does,
I'll save it for next
No,
week.
if it does, then it'll be the joke of the week.
There's a man on a beach and he sees a woman with no arms and no legs crying. And he says, what's wrong? And she says, I've never been hugged by a man. So he hugs her. And then she says, I've never been kissed by a man. So he kisses her. She says, I've never been fucked by a man. So he throws her in the ocean.
I've clicked the wrong
quiz.
jingle.
Jesus Christ.
Actually, do you know what, Tim? For that woman,
Show some fucking respect.
Oh, we're just cutting the jingle. Oh.
no, it's starting again.
That's pretty funny, to be fair. That joke was weak. I misread that as that's the joke of the week.
You sound really slow.
Yeah. But I wonder if that'll come out in the edit.
I don't know. Who knows? Joke of the week was the old kick the bucket one. I don't need to tell you again. It gets Tim every time. Tim, couple of bits and bobs here. I want you to tell me about the Jaguar rebrand.
Have you seen anything of this?
Nope.
All right. So, when you think of the Jaguar logo, what do you think of? What do you think of when it comes to Jaguar's branding?
I think of a bloody Jaguar, mate.
You think of a Jaguar?
I think about a bloody Jaguar.
Well, they have gone through a big old logo change. I'm going to send you the before and I'm going to send you the after.
Okay.
So they had two logos, one for like kind of the side of their cars and like sometimes the front, depending on like the make and model. It was just a bit more of like an insignia thing. That's the old one. Along with they sometimes had this.
That one, just for the listener, is a Jaguar jumping in the word Jaguar.
Great. Now that they're going for electric cars, this is the other thing they've now come out with. It looks pretty shit.
It's the word Jaguar in a very childish, curly font.
Yeah.
I don't like that it's lower. Some of it's lowercase, some of it's uppercase.
Oh, I didn't even notice that. Like the J, the G, the U are all in uppercase, but the A, and the R are all in lowercase.
Why would they do that?
So the whole thing is that they're going for a much more modern market.
Idiots.
But to me, right, and correct me if I'm wrong, because I'm only recently in the world of cars, if you like, is with Lightning McQueen, is Kachoo, as he says. Jaguar has kind of a bit of a brand reputation of something being quite bold and for kind of the upper class, you know. This looks like their logo, like someone wrote out the word Jaguar on a keyboard and then scrolled through fonts on Photoshop until someone said stop.
I think it looks more like someone downloaded a random font from defont.com.
Defont.com, the savior of all projects.
Bad.
Yeah.
That's not a good rebrand. Do you know what the worst thing is? Someone will have paid them millions for that.
I've just seen they've got another insignia logo, which is this.
It's a J at the right way up at the top and a J the wrong way up at the bottom.
Yep. It's kind of looking like a Dolce & Gabbana logo, but it looks... Or I would not know that was meant to be Jaguar.
No, it looks like two AirPods.
It does look like two AirPods, or two candy canes.
Two AirPods in a yin and yang formation.
Yeah. Well,
Okay.
that's your car branding, everyone.
Well, don't do it, Jaguar. You look stupid.
It's very, very weird. Like, they're no stranger to rebrands. They've gone through enough in the past, but this is just a very, very odd choice.
Just a bad one.
Mm.
Tim, there's one thing in here that we're going to cover a little bit in Podmas. We've always done it. It's no secret. About the Game Awards.
Yes.
What are you eating?
Poppets.
Poppets?
Mm-hmm.
Is this the year 2005?
I love Poppets.
Cool. Tell me about the Game Awards and the controversy.
So, you've probably seen the nominees have been announced, yes?
Yes, I posted to you and Alex.
Yes.
About them.
Remind me, if you can, what's up for Game of the Year?
Astroworld, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, something else, and Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree.
Now, Elden Ring Shadow of the Erd Tree is kind of the stickler here because it's a DLC to a game. And there's a lot of people asking where the line is drawn, if you like, for what is considered a game and what is considered DLC.
Yeah.
ordinarily, I would say that DLC should not be in consideration for Game of the Year because it is an expansion to an existing bit of content. However,
Go on.
given the scale of Shadow of the Erd Tree, I can understand why it's there. I don't agree that it's there, but I understand why it's there.
Okay, counterpoint, you're wrong.
Sure, it's a DLC.
It's a DLC, it's not a game. If you buy Shadow of the Erd Tree and try and play it without owning the game, which is Elden Ring, which came out 2 years ago, and already won Game of the Year, it wouldn't work.
No.
Therefore, it's not a standalone game. Therefore, it shouldn't be considered for Game of the Year.
I wonder where you'd stand with... Do you remember when Red Dead Undead Nightmare launched?
Yes.
That was what's referred to as an expandalone. So essentially, you didn't need to own the base game to play that game.
For me, that would count as a standalone game. It's like Far Cry 3 Red Blood Dragon.
Oh, Blood Dragon was great.
The one that was like Tron.
Yeah.
You didn't need the game for it. It's a spin-off of the game itself. And a spin-off is separate to the game, whereas Shadow of the Erd Tree is an expansion to the game that already exists. It's, to me, it's a bit of a joke that it's in there. Now, I am the first one to blow smoke up From Software's arse. It's probably my favourite game studio. They make outstanding games, and Shadow of the Erd Tree should have some kind of recognition. It should not be considered for Game of the Year because it's not a game.
No, it's an expansion to a game.
Yeah, and this is a new rule that was brought in this year so that they could nominate Shadow of the Erd Tree.
Well, it's no secret that Jeff Keighley and his team are big FromSoft fans.
Yeah.
It does feel like they've kind of flexed the rules to get that in.
Yeah, I agree. Out of the actual nominees, Tim, who would you vote?
Let me pull up the list again. I mean, Rebirth was great. Balatro was a time sink. I've not played Metaphor. It's on my list, as is Black Myth Wukong and Astrobot. I really enjoyed the first Astrobot game.
Mm-hmm. So you've only played
Balatro and Final Fantasy VII Rebirth.
Okay.
I'm really torn, to be honest, because I know that obviously the scale of Rebirth is it massively overshadows Balatro in every way, shape, and form. But Balatro is one of these games that just like sinks its claws into you and does not let go.
Listen to our whole episode on Balatro.
Yeah. I'm super torn. I feel like, though, given that I haven't finished Rebirth, and I'm not saying that I finished Balatro, not that you ever really can, but I've definitely put more time into Balatro than I did Rebirth. And for that, I probably have to give it to Balatro.
Can I say, I think that there's two areas of the Game Awards missing. One, DLCs. I feel like there are so many good DLCs that you could have a standalone category for best DLC. That's where Shadow of the Erd Tree would fit. DLC and expansion, I think, is what I would call it. The other one that's missing is remakes.
I add on to that with you. Remakes, remasters, and re-releases.
Yes. And I think that Silent Hill 2 was overlooked in this. If you're putting... I know Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is a remake?
Reimagining. Because the story does deviate quite a lot from the original game.
And Silent Hill 2 doesn't stick faithfully to its source material. But they're not original stories.
No.
So, to me, of the games that are in for Game of the Year, Balatro, Black Myth Wukong, Metaphor, Phantasmagoria, Thunderbastard,
Persona again.
Persona again, and what was the other one?
Astrobot.
Astrobot are the four that can be considered for Game of the Year and should be in the category for Game of the Year of the 4 that are in there. I think there are some glaring omissions. I think that the way that, I'm not saying it should win, but the way that Space Marine 2 took over the internet for a short while should have some kind of recognition within that Game of the Year section. I usually quite like the Game Awards, but this is it's not even the remakes and the remasters and the reimaginings that bother me. This DLC thing has really already made me feel like they've put it in there because they want it to win.
Yeah.
So, yeah, that's how I feel about it.
So, the other thing that I wanted to bring up on Best Fighting Game, obviously fighting games are a topic that are very near and dear to my heart. And there have been some really, really, really good stuff coming out of the fighting game scene this year. So, the nominees for Best Fighting Game are Dragon Ball Sparking Zero, Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising, Marvel vs. Capcom Collection Arcade Classics, Multiverses, and Tekken 8.
How do you say fighting game titles are bad names?
So here is I'm going to go through those nominees one more time and tell you whether or not I think they should be in that thing and why. I think Sparking Zero is...
Sorry, can you give it its full title?
Sorry, Dragon Ball Sparking Zero is okay to be in there. It's considered an arena fighter, but it's definitely playing to a lot more of the casual audience, which is fine. There's absolutely an audience for that. But to me, it's not like I'm not going to say, well, I don't want to gatekeep and say traditional fighters only, blah, 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 but it feels like a very much an odd one out here in this scenario. Granblue Fantasy vs. Rising, it's great that it's here. It did come out at the end of last year, though. Unfortunately, it was after the Game Awards cut off for like nominations last year, so it makes sense.
How do you feel about that? If it won Fighting Game of the Year 2024, would that be an accurate reflection of the game?
I don't think so.
No, you shouldn't have it in here.
Oh no, I think it deserves to be nominated. I don't think it deserves to win.
No. Forget the winning part. Let's say, regardless of your choice, it wins. It came out in 2023.
Yep.
How would you feel if it had a big sticker that said Fighting Game of the Year 2024 on it?
I think it'd be a little disingenuous. Right. But again, it was after the cutoff of the nominees for last year.
That's regardless. That doesn't matter. So, I'm sorry, I still don't know where you actually sit on this.
I get why it's here. To me, it does feel like it should have been included in last year, though.
Okay, so no, it shouldn't be there.
Sure. Then we've got the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Game Collection Arcade Classics. Right?
Sounds like a re-release.
It's 5 or 6 re-releases in one bundle. And don't get me wrong, I love me some Marvel vs. Capcom. It does not deserve to be in here because it's a game that came out in 1998. It's okay. It doesn't deserve it. You've just re-released it again. Put it in the re-release category that for some reason doesn't exist. Yeah. Then there's Multiverses, which actually won Best Fighting Game in 2022, but then they pulled the game from stores saying, lol, it's a beta, and now it's got an actual release again this year, and now it's up for Best Fighting Game again. So that feels like a bit of a con. And if they're doing that, then surely that opens the door for all other betas in the PC, and not only in the PC gaming space, but all in the gaming space for these awards. So, for example, we had the beta for 2XKO, which is Riot Games' fighting game set in the League of Legends universe, and it was great, but it's not up here. But if we're following Multiverse's rules, it really should be, especially over something like Marvel, and especially over Multiverses, which already won. Leaving the only one that I think should be here is Tekken 8. But we had more than that release this year. We had a new Under Night In-Birth game, and that game is fantastic.
Multiverses on Steam has a release date of 19th of July 2022.
Yeah. It came out, the beta launched in 2022, and while it was in beta, it won Best Fighting Game, and then they pulled it from stores, called it a beta, and now they've re-released it again, and now it's up for winning again.
That's ridiculous.
That's fucking stupid.
Sounds like a bit of a shambles.
So the only game that I think really deserves to be up there, out of this entire list of games that are up there, is Tekken 8. And yeah, to be honest, I could see them stretching to include Granblue. I could understand them stretching to include that, but where's Undernight? For example, Undernight was a fantastic game. They made a very foolish error on releasing on the same day as Tekken 8. I have no idea why they did that, but it still came out this year, and it's still a phenomenal product.
Yeah.
Where's 2XKO? If we're accepting betas, why isn't that up here?
Well, I don't know, Tim. I'm not Jeff Keighley.
No, I get the fighting game genre is generally speaking quite thin on the ground when it comes to annual releases, but man, this needs to be better.
Yeah, especially when the stuff is available.
Yeah.
Right. Oh, there you go. Controversial Game Awards. Maybe we'll have a whole episode of Podmas about it.
Maybe.
Tim, I've got one more thing for you. We have got a couple of things, but let's save some of them for next week. I think we've been jabbering on for a little while.
Been yapping.
Pokemon Fire Ash, something I sent you today.
Yeah. Right.
Did you look into it?
Yeah, I looked it up because I was in the shop when you sent it to me. I don't know why I've written the word fish. I meant to write Fire Ash. So, this is a ROM hack, right?
I don't know what a ROM hack is, Tim.
A modification of an existing Game Boy game or something.
No, this is a fan-made Pokemon game. And what it does is, rather than follow the games, you play as Ash Ketchum, but you follow his entire journey from the start of I was going to say the A word then, the cartoon, right until he beats the Elite Four, because that is in a different chronological order to the games.
I'm
And
just
I
looking
think
at
it looks
screenshots now.
fucking great.
I'm looking at some screenshots. This looks fantastic.
I think we should play it. It's something different because it is a fan made game.
Sure,
but it looks huge. It's I think the biggest Pokemon game certainly available out there for free.
Yeah, I mean it's going to be taken down by Nintendo's lawyers pretty fucking quick.
Been out for a while now.
Last updated
2017.
Yeah, and it looks like it was updated last in February 2024 with some bug fixes.
Yeah, so I was told about this today, and I think we should give it a go. Sounds really fun.
That could be fun.
Yeah, that was it really.
Yeah, I like it.
Nice. Okay, Tim, let's do... Oh, I've got one more thing for you. I was doing silly subreddits.
Oh, yeah.
Found you a silly subreddit. It's called r/power slap. And then when I looked at the videos, it was just people beating the shit out of each other. Have you ever seen the sport of power slapping?
Is this the one where the guys are completely jacked on one arm?
Yeah. They're massive. And it's the only sport in the world where you're encouraged to take an unprotected shot to the face or head. And your goal is to knock out your opponent with a slap. It is brutal.
I've seen some footage of it, and those people have very much got cauliflower ears.
Those people will very much have CTE.
CTE?
Yeah.
What's CTE?
You know, I don't really know if I want to say his name, but I can't say the word. It's chronic traumatic
Encephalopathy? I'm going to put a voice to text speech thing in here.
Chronic traumatic encephalopathy.
Yeah. But basically, it's where your brain, it's a degenerative brain disease, and it develops when your head is repeatedly struck or you get lots of concussions. You might remember a famous wrestler going and murdering certain members of his family.
Oh, right, yeah.
That is what they determine the cause to be.
Wow, okay.
So, yeah.
Huh.
I was going to say go and have a look at that, but then I didn't because it's horrific.
Yeah.
So I found a new one, and it's called r/bad UI battles.
Oh, I sent you this, I think.
Did you?
I did.
I know I'd seen it before.
Yeah.
It's just bad UI.
It's people intentionally making bad user interfaces, and it's fucking hilarious.
It's really funny. The one that's top of today is really good. It's a bunch of drop downs, and it's an alphabetical date time selection. And that sounds minor over audio, but when you see it in person, oh my god, it's hard to look at.
That's amazing. The people who are on here are psychotic when it comes to UI.
I like it. I think that they're great.
I really like this one here, where in order to cancel their account, they've got to type in their username and password and then find the word cancel in a word search made entirely of the letters made of cancel.
That is mean. There's a one of a drop down. It says tired of drop downs, and you have to select your country by drawing the flag.
That's amazing. Look at this one. There you go.
What have you sent me? Let's have a look, Tim. Ooh, it's opened it in Internet Explorer.
Where?
Oh no, you're leaving? Oh my god. And your mouse has been duplicated thousands of times, so you can't click the cancel my subscription. Oh, that's mean. Anyway, Tim, we should crack on because we could be here for ages.
Yes.
Tim, quiz question of the week.
Pub quiz question of the week. Answer: what's the definition of a blue moon?
Go on.
A blue moon is the second full moon in a calendar month.
Oh.
That's it.
And it's rare because it rarely happens.
Exactly.
Oh, very good.
Right?
I like that. Well done. Good quiz
bit of
question,
tidbit.
Tim. Tim, I'm going to choose our PodPat user of the week, and this week we're going to say Seismic Cinema.
Whoa.
Check out the boys' Seismic Cinema. Really good podcast. At time of recording, they've just done an episode on The Ring. If you like some scary movies, check it out. But if not, they do loads of stuff. It's not just horror. Really, really fun podcast. Tim, anything you want the users to know?
To take that, you bastards.
Take that, you bastards. We'll see you in a week's time for Podmas. And check us out on X as Game Club Pod. I hate it when I say check us out. Check us out on Twitter as the Game Club Pod.
Do we have a Blue Sky account? Or?
We do have a Blue Sky account. It's Game Club Pod.
Oh.
Check us out on Twitch, where we stream sort of 2 to 3 times a week. We're doing Baldur's Gate, among other things. We did Deep Rock Galactic recently. It's very fun. And check Tim out. He's Wembembo. Check Alex out. He is the Shrimp from Space. Celestial Shrimp is his handle. Check me out if you can find me. Take that, you bastards. We'll see you in a week's time.
Bye.
It seems to be on my end if the thing wasn't working for you, so I might shut Discord down and restart it, see if that helps.
Okay. I'll just keep Craig in here with me.
All right.
It's just me and you now, Craig. It's exciting, isn't it? I've always wondered what it'd be like to hold a recording bot's hands while he looks lovingly into my eyes. Does it stay in the end? I'm not sure. I don't think the world's ready for our love yet, Craig. Maybe. Maybe in a few years. Maybe then the world will be ready. Oh, hi, Joey.
I don't like that you were talking to Craig.